What is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? Thank you for being here. I am excited. This is our top 10 of our top 100 countdown. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me. As many of you know, I've been out sick for a while. This is day 14 of being sick. I'm not 100%. I'm still battling a sinus infection pretty bad, but I'm good enough to be here. I'm like 80%, so I'm getting there. I'm getting better, but I'll tell you what, this 2 weeks has been brutal. So unfortunately, I wanted this top 10 to be very cinematic. I wanted it to be, a lot of production value. Unfortunately, the reality is I haven't been able to get out and film. And if I wanted to make it starting right now, I would have to go out and I would need another 5 days. And then we got stuff to do. You know what I mean? We got all kinds of golf balls over here that are brand new for the 25 season. You're itching to see the reviews. We got the squishy competition coming up. We got all kinds of great stuff, and we got to move on. So unfortunately, it just didn't work out this year. Next year, I will make sure that the top 100 is a lot more cinematic and better and funner, more entertaining. I've got all kinds of good ideas, and I'll just carry them over to next year. And I've got a whole year to plan, or 11 months. So. Guys, if you are new here, first of all, we're glad to have you. We welcome you. This is awesome. But if this is your first time seeing this list, if you skipped all the other ones and you just want to see the top 10, I do recommend you at least go back and watch the criteria video. I put a link in the description. That's going to let you know how these categories are, because it's not just 10 best golf balls, like just with a random opinion. Like, we have 7 categories. Each, category gets a score. We add all of it up, and then out of a total score of 70, it gets that, and that's how it gets here. And so I just don't want you to come into this and be like, what is this guy talking? I've never even heard of half these golf. Like, there's a method to this madness here. So we'd love for you to stick around. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Love to have you in this community. It's a great community. The people here are awesome. You're gonna love it. Guys, real quick, this video is brought to you by Simple Plan Fitness. This is actually a company started by my buddy Alex. I talk about him all the time on the channel. The guy is built like a brick, He, over the last year, has, really created himself into like a machine. It's incredible. He's lost all kinds of weight, but he wants to help people. His social media is really funny. It's dry humor like mine. He creates good content, so he's just starting out. If you want to go follow one of his socials, I'd really appreciate that. He does not know I'm doing this, so this is a surprise to him. So all I ask is he has a YouTube. Again, I'll put a link in the description. But he's got a YouTube, he's got an Instagram, he's got TikTok, he's got all that stuff. He creates funny stuff. Go check him out. And if any of you do need help with fitness, or you just want to reach out to someone and talk, this is the guy to do it to. I mean, this guy, you're going to talk to this guy for 3 or 4 minutes, and you're going to realize why I talk about him on the channel all the time, even though he doesn't come on camera. So check him out. I really appreciate it. All right. A couple of you have been asking, just this real quick and then we'll get into it. A couple of you have been asking about, like, oh, well, I noticed this ball hasn't been mentioned yet, and this ball hasn't been mentioned yet, but also this one. And keep in mind, there are a couple of golf balls, I won't mention them, I don't want to give anything away, that did not make the top 100. And the reason was because I just didn't get a review out in time. And the one I'll use as an example, just so you know what I'm talking about, is the Wilson Tour Velocity. I did a review on that ball, but it was years ago, and they have updated that model twice since then. And I don't feel comfortable putting it in the list anymore, because if I tell you, oh yeah, hey, look, guys, this is a great golf ball. It's a top 20 golf ball or top 30 golf ball, and you go buy it, but it's been updated twice, I can't vouch for the new versions. And so it was a golf ball that I wanted to get in there. I tried, but I just ran out of time. And so it will be reviewed this year. It will be in here, but the Tour Velocity is not on the list at all. I know some of you were asking me about that. At number 10, we have the Vice Tour. So a lot of you knew there was still a lot of Vice golf balls that hadn't been called yet. The Vice Tour is the first one up. This is the value, as far as, like, now Vice is already a value company, obviously, but Vice Tour is the value version of the Pro Series. So it's still 3-piece. It's not urethane, but it comes in only 2 colors, which kind of hurts it. We'll talk about that more in a second, but it's a clickier, firmer version. It reminds me of a poor man's Pro Plus. It's definitely on the clickier side. It acts more like a 4-piece. It's not, but it acts more like a 4-piece. It feels more like a 4-piece. It's definitely for the faster swinger crowd. I think if you're under 95 mile an hour, I wouldn't really mess with it too much, just because I think you're going to start to see short iron performance go down a little bit, maybe some mid iron performance as well. It's not the most forgiving ball, but as far as being a really valuable golf ball that you can get as low as $22 a dozen, it checks a lot of boxes. I mean, looking here, you know, excellent performance across every single club, every single one of them. Even the backspin, you know, all 5 categories tested really good. It does have that clickier feel. The value is a 9 out of 10 being that low. I mean, it already comes in at $28 a dozen, which is a good value, but then you can get it down to 21. That's awesome. It had a 9 out of 10 durability. The design is where it really kind of hurts this golf ball. So, you know, design with other Vice golf balls is usually top tier. You know, you've got the drip, you've got the limited editions, you've got, you know, all kinds, the shade, all kinds of really cool stuff. Well, the Tour only has 2 designs. It has a white and then it has like a gray with a pink in the middle, which is a cool design. Don't get me wrong, cool design, great, but that's the only 2 it comes in. And so the fact that those are the only 2 it comes in, it kind of hurts it a little bit. So instead of being a 9 out of 10 on, you know, design, or a 10 out of 10 on design, you know, it's like a 7 out of 10 on design, and that is enough to bring it down to 10. The performance of this golf ball, how well it spins, how well it checks up, how it feels, it's consistently, it's accurate, all that stuff is good enough to be a top 5 golf ball. But because it only comes in the 2 designs, and I don't think most people are going to go for that second design, the off-white gray, muddy looking with the pink in the middle, that's kind of a niche market. You got to come up with some more designs for that specific ball. So with that being the case, it ends up at number 10, but it's definitely deserving of that spot. Great year for Vice. Their new models this year were really outstanding, and they kind of were the standard on the channel pretty much all year. At number 9, we have the Wilson Zip, all-time favorite on the channel. It is a 2-piece golf ball. It's a little softer. I would say it's definitely a prime candidate for the squishy competition coming up. It's more of the super soft type golf ball. But here's the thing. I tested it a few years ago. The forgiveness is off the charts. The feel is great. This 2-piece golf ball acts and does so many things just almost perfectly. I mean, really, if you're someone who is an intermediate player to a beginner, you know, if you're in that 10 to 15 handicap range and you're looking for a good 2-piece, inexpensive golf ball, they're $1 a golf ball. You can get 2 dozen for $24. But getting a golf ball like that and getting it, you know, from tee to green, just keep it in the fairway, keep it from going out of bounds, keep your penalty strokes down. There's not too many options that are this good. And it's not just my opinion. You know, in the last 3 years, I have never seen so many people. This ball's the standard. When it comes to people saying like, hey, I trust Golf Ball Addict because he recommended the Wilson Zip and now I play it exclusively, this is the standard for this channel because there are hundreds of people who follow me, hundreds, who play the Wilson Zip exclusively. And they flat out, they still tell me, they're like, I won't play anything else. They're like, I went from Pro V1 to Wilson Zip, you know, 3 years ago, and I knocked 5-6 strokes off my game and I'll never go back. And there's a lot of people who say that. And so this golf ball really is the real deal. And like I said, with a value score like that, $1 golf ball, along with a great performance across the board, there's not a lot of negative things to say. At number 8, we have the Wright and Ditson golf ball. So this is going to be one from left field that a lot of people haven't heard of. People who watch the channel and are golf ball addicts probably are not surprised here. I've talked about this golf ball all year long. There's not a lot of bad things to say. There's really no bad things to say. This golf ball explodes off the club. It is a 4-piece urethane golf ball. It's a value ball for sure because it comes in a price point of $29.99 a dozen, which, you know, that's great. For a 4-piece urethane ball, you really can't beat it. But where Wright and Ditson really gets this right, see what I did there, is they understand that in a direct-to-consumer market that is heavily congested, you have to stand out. Something has to be unique about what you're doing. You can't just blend in because no one's going to care. And trust me, I've reviewed enough golf balls to know that. And where Wright and Ditson comes in is they have these different designs, as you can see. They call them ball markers. But this gives it this really vintage, boutique style look. All of these are golf related. You know, you got dance floor, you got breakfast ball, you got all these really cool, kind of southern feeling, you know, different designs. And I love it. You know, I'm not a super big fan of the alignment tool, but at least they have one on there. It does at least help a little. Not my cup of tea, but still. I don't know what you want me to say. You know, it's a 9 out of 10 of performance. If you add everything up across the board, this is one of the best performing golf balls I've ever hit. There's really no downside to it. It spins a ton. It putts great. I've used it on the course. I love it. A lot of the community has used it and come forth. As far as why it doesn't get into the top 5 or top 3, it comes down to durability, unfortunately. The durability score was a 7 out of 10, which is good. That's a good durability score. It will get you through 18, barely. But that's kind of the only thing. If this durability score was a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, yeah, we'd be looking at top 3 golf ball. So that goes to show you how good the performance truly is. It is a near perfect golf ball in almost every single category. It just needs a little more durability. And let's be honest, at $29.99 a dozen, you got to sacrifice something, right? I mean, that's a really inexpensive golf ball. Something has to be sacrificed, and it's just a little nick on the durability, but my goodness, still fantastic. Great golf ball. Check it out. At number 7, we have the Maxfli Tour S. This is another fan favorite from a lot of you. Maxfli golf balls are really gaining a lot of steam every single year because Maxfli continues to remake them. Maxfli continues to make them better, and you know, people are playing them and people like them. Now, a lot of you have asked me, well, why is the Tour and the Tour X so low? Well, because simple, the Tour and the Tour X are for faster swinging golfers. They're for better golfers. They're for advanced golfers. Maxfli is not playing around. They're not doing this as far as a, hey, you know, if you're a normal guy and you play a Pro V1 and, you know, yeah, you come back, you can play this, you'll save money. That's not what Maxfli is doing. Maxfli is creating their Tour and their Tour X and saying, yeah, hey, there's a couple women pro golfers, the LPGA players, we've signed, and they have. They've signed them. You know, there's a couple Champions Tour guys they've signed. You know, they're going after the Tour. They want their ball to be played on Tour again. They're going for the top of the top. They're not just like, hey, we're direct to consumer. You know, hey, if you're playing Pro V1, if you're playing Callaway, you want to save some money, come to us. No, with those golf balls in specific, they're saying, hey, we want big names playing our golf ball. Like, we want endorsement deals. We want this. We want people to think of us as a Tour ball again. Now, where does that fall into place here? I'm an average golfer, so when I tested them, there's not a lot of forgiveness. It sprays too much. I close the face. It goes, you know, that's what you want an advanced golfer to do. An advanced golfer is going to want to be able to bend the ball left and right. I don't. I want it to kind of stay in place so I'm not out of bounds every single shot. So that's really where that comes in. Now, bringing all that back, we're here at the Tour S. The Tour S is different because it is the softer model. It's kind of like the Pro Soft of the 3. It's designed to have a little bit lower of a flight. It's designed to have a little less spin, but not the case with me. It actually spun a bunch. It's able to grip the green a ton. It broke multiple records at the time when I tested it, which was awesome. It has this really explosive bouncy ball feel when it comes off, which I just love. It has a really good durability score at 8 out of 10. It's not perfect by any means. It comes in a yellow and a white. This is a golf ball that anyone who swings 100 mile an hour or less, 95 mile an hour or less, somewhere in that range, and you're looking for a golf ball that you can get under $30 a dozen if you buy 4 dozen or more. And my goodness, where can you get that kind of value right now? You know what I mean? Especially from a retail store. At number 6, we have the Vice Pro Air. So again, you know, Vice's line was just incredible this year. Vice has 3 Pro models. They have the Pro, they have the Pro Air, and they have the Pro Plus. The Pro Air is the softest of those 3. It's the most forgiving. Doesn't have an explosive pop off. It has, you know, it comes off the club good, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have that explosive pop like maybe some of the other ones do. But this one's more about that forgiveness. It's more about accuracy and consistency and stuff like that. Again, you're someone like me, I'm trying to keep the ball in play, I'm trying to keep it in the fairway, I'm trying to keep it on the green, then I'm trying to 2-putt for a par. You know what, if I make a mistake and I get out of the bogey, okay. This golf ball is really good for that. Now, I know there have been some issues with spin. On the robotic test from today's golfer, they had it as their lowest spinning golf ball. I didn't experience that. You know, there's a difference in swing speed, there's a difference in clubs, but when I tested it, it was one of the best spinning golf balls I had tested at the time, and it still holds true to that even now. And what really sets Vice apart is they also do have, you know, incredible value, $39.99 a dozen. You can get that down to 32 if you buy 6 or more dozen, you know, so you're kind of in that range, which is a good price. It's not fantastic. We'll touch on that more later, but it has a really good value. It's not Pro V1 price. You're going to save a ton and you're going to get pretty much the same performance. I would argue better performance, but you're going to get way better performance as far as my opinion, and you're going to save a bunch of money. That's what makes Vice so appealing to so many people, but also the designs. You know, it's really easy to go all in on a company like Vice and look at what they're doing and look at their designs and say, okay, I want that to be me. I want to be a Vice guy, you know, and then you can wear the clothing and you can use the clubs and you can have, you know, your own personal ball, and you know, you might use the shade and your buddy might use the drip, and it's all different. And that's what makes Vice really cool, is they have some incredible designs. They have some incredible limited editions that come out, you know, and that really gives Vice a big step up. Now, as far as why it didn't get in the top 5, top 4, top 3, it really comes back to the value, and I want to touch on that. So Vice in the past, you know, has always been, you know, they started out at $35 a dozen, and then they went to $37, and then now they're at $40, and that's, don't get me wrong, $39.99 is an okay price. It's not great, it's okay, it's good. It gets like a 7 out of 10. The fact that you can buy in bulk gets that score a little higher, but here's the problem. Used to, for the longest time, as long as I can remember, you could buy 5 boxes and you could get that price down to, you know, it used to be 27, but now it's 32. That's still a good price. But now it's 6 boxes. So now Vice has kind of taken a small dip in the value factor. And I get it. They got a lot going on. They got clubs and they got all kinds of new sponsors, and they got, I get that. But that value is going toward the wrong side of the spectrum. You know, I want to see them get more value. I want to see them come out with a way to, you know, provide even better prices, because now we are seeing $29.99 from Legato and from Wright and Ditson, and I just don't want Vice to kind of, okay, now we're 42 and now we're 45, and that's the wrong direction. $40 a dozen is already kind of pushing it just a little bit, but it's acceptable. Now all of a sudden you have to buy 6 boxes to get it to $33 a dozen, $32.99, you know, per pop. It's a good deal, but it's not as good as Legato. I can go to Amazon right now and get 1 dozen for $27. You know, and you might say, okay, well, how's the performance difference? Well, Vice is a little better. That's why it's in the top 10. But where Vice might be a 10 out of 10, Legato's a 9 out of 10. So then you got to make that choice. Do I really care about that close, you know, for that type of price? It's interesting. It's getting to the point where Vice, I think they need to kind of find a way to stop that and say, okay, no, we're not going any further. And the reason I elaborated on that is you'll see in just a second. But at number 5, we have the Seed SD15. So this is a 2-piece golf ball from a direct-to-consumer company called Seed. What I love about this golf ball is that it does not break any records, okay? It's not, you know, outstanding, eye-popping, but it's extremely good. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's very good / excellent at everything. And we've talked about this. You don't have to be perfect to get into the top 10 when it comes to this golf ball list. You just have to do everything really well. And that's this to a T. We have a 2-piece golf ball that's made with DuPont Surlyn. It's made with premium materials. It's $20 a dozen. It has a good value for what you're getting. Absolutely. You can get that price lower if you buy in bulk. They have great designs. You know, they have an alignment tool design. They have, you know, different colors. You know, they have different matte options. All that's really great. You know what I'm saying? If you're a high visibility player and you want that, boom, you got it. As far as the performance across the board, again, no records are broken, but everything's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, you know, across every club. And even when it came to the spin, a lot of you say, oh, well, 2-piece golf balls don't spin a lot. 50-yard pitch, over 7,500 RPM spin, which is better than a lot of tour balls I tested. So it does that really well too. So it checks up, it explodes off the club. It's extremely consistent. It's extremely, you know, accurate. It's in the fairway almost every single time. And you know, when I'm on the course and I am playing a tighter, you know, more public course that's in a neighborhood, and I need to keep it in play constantly, this ball's my go-to right now, because it's very forgiving, it's very consistent, it's very accurate, and I also gain distance with every single club, and I also still get ripped back with a 2-piece golf ball. So it checks almost every single box. I don't know what else you could want from it. So it does everything extremely well. The price point's good. The designs are great. Durability is a 10 out of 10. It was one of the few golf balls this year we tested with a perfect durability score. So again, awesome. At number 4, we have the Vice Pro Plus, and this is why I touched so much on that price when it came to the Vice Pro Air a second ago. I didn't mean to go on a rant there, but what I was trying to get at is that the Vice Pro Plus is the best Vice golf ball I tested this year. It had incredible performance, 9-iron, 7-iron, backspin, I mean, everything just really 10 out of 10. But where this golf ball really set itself apart, not only from the other Vice golf balls, but from other golf balls on this list, was the driver performance. This golf ball at the time shattered my normal, my averages, everything. It was just incredible. And I have been able to replicate that on the course. I remember I was playing in a match play against somebody. It was in a tournament, and I got to the 8th hole, or was it 9th? It was 9th hole, excuse me, 9th hole. And I teed off with the Vice Pro Plus, and I caught it just right. And I'm not kidding you, my average drive is 240, maybe 250 if I really hit it good. This went 280. It almost went up to the green. And that right there intimidated my opponent enough, like, oh man, he just won it. And from that point on, I had just a little chip into the green. I ended up making par. My opponent made triple bogey. That ended up helping me win. There have been multiple times I've teed this golf ball up, and I've caught it just right, and when you catch it just right, nothing else goes further. It's just incredible how far it goes, and so that sets it apart. That's why it is the best ranked Vice golf ball. Now, again, the reason I went on that big long rant is because why is it not in the top 3? Why is it not number 1? Because of that value, and I understand it seems petty and I understand it seems small, but when you're up here in the top 5, everything is so close together, and all it takes is a little slip up and boom, something can overtake it. And that's what happened here. So the value score this year going to 6 boxes instead of 5, going to $40, being a little less value than they have been in the past. That 1 or 2 on that score was enough to get it down to where it's 4. But you have to try this. You have to try it. If you don't like it, that's fine, but you have to try it. That's all there is. Well, I've been playing blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You have to try this golf ball. It is the real deal. At number 3, we have the Wilson Boost. This is why I make this channel. I mean, this is why this channel exists, is because every once in a while we'll go to Walmart, we'll pick a $10 a dozen golf ball off the shelf and go, oh, Wilson Boost, what in the world is this? We test it, and it's one of the best golf balls we've tested, and that's what happened here. I mean, this golf ball at $10 a dozen, under $1 a piece, just retail straight from Walmart. It's hard to beat that, but then also when you pair it with the fact that it has a really explosive feel, you feel like you have so much power. There's a lot of forgiveness packed in there. It does look a little cheap. I'm not gonna lie, it looks cheap, but it's got an alignment tool. It's got a cool logo. It doesn't make you think, wow, this is really, really cheap. I like the Wilson Zip does. This one actually at least has a decent enough modern design to where you're like, okay, it looks a little cheaper, but it looks like it could get the job done. So it passes all those with flying colors, but then we get into that performance and, as you can see, 9 out of 10 on durability. It backspun only 6,800 RPM, but again, we're talking about a 2-piece with really cheap materials for $10 a dozen. Almost 7,000 is enough to stop on the green. 9 out of 10 across the board on performance. If you add all the clubs together, that's what it averages. Design being a 7 out of 10. Being that it's still just a little cheaper. I was actually able to see where they welded the golf ball together, like where they stuck it together at. So 7 out of 10, not great, but it performs well, it putts, it does all kinds of stuff really great, and the community feedback matched that. So once I came out with that review and I was like, guys, this ball's incredible, I can't believe it is. A lot of you for $10 a dozen went out and played it, and I have not really heard. The worst thing I've heard about the Wilson Boost is someone said, yeah, I tried it, it's a good golf ball, it's not for me. That's the worst thing I heard out of dozens and dozens and hundreds of people who tested it and came back with feedback. So that's pretty good. So it's interesting that a $10 a dozen golf ball gets in the top 3, but that's why this channel is so great, and that's why this community is so great, because we find diamonds in the rough like that all the time. All right, and this next bit is going to be like I'm trying to convince you. It's going to sound like I'm making you a sales pitch. And the reality is that when I saw this, there was a sales pitch I had to give myself too, because I thought I made a mistake. And let's just get right into that. At number 2 and at number 1, we have the PXG Extreme and Extreme Tour X. You want to talk about an upset. I mean, what makes this list so great is that 2 years in a row now, I haven't been able to guess what the number 1 golf ball would be. I had no idea it was going to be Sugar last year, and then all of a sudden it snuck in. I had no idea the PXG was going to be rated this high, especially both balls, especially the X and just the regular Extreme Tour. How did this happen? Well, it's simple. When I was adding the numbers up, I was adding them, and boom, there it was, number 2, number 1. And my first initial reaction was, well, that can't be right. I made a mistake somewhere. And so I go back, I recrunch the numbers, it comes up number 2 and number 1 again. And so then I said, oh, well, okay, let's dive into these numbers. I started doing some comparisons side by side with other stuff I had tested. These golf balls are darn near perfect. That's all there is to it. Let's go category by category here, and I will explain to you why these golf balls really were the best things I tested this year. When we look at 9-iron performance, when we look at 7-iron, when we look at 5 hybrid, when we look at driver, everything is very consistent. And that's that the PXG Extreme Tour, just the regular, is more of a spinning golf ball. I got, anywhere between 300 to 500 RPM higher spin across every single club. But my distance was, of course, brought back because of that, which that's fine. Distance isn't everything. Sometimes you want some spin. You can have some really low spinning golf balls that travel forever, but they don't hold a green. Everything there is just consistent across the board. No ball suffered. When it comes to just really, really incredibly consistent performance across the board that broke records at the time, I mean, there's almost no negatives. I'm going through the numbers and I'm looking at 9, I'm looking at 7. I can't really find any negatives. It's all really eye-popping. And at the time, yes, I was really impressed, but now that I look back and I have all this data in this pool, I'm like, wow, those golf balls really were the best thing I've tested. So performance-wise, if I say, okay, 100-mile-an-hour swing speed, average golfer, this tour ball is the real deal. Pound for pound across every single club, nothing really touched it. I mean, it really was a 10 out of 10 performance. Also, speaking of 10 out of 10, the durability. I mean, both golf balls absolutely held through 18, no problem. You could easily get 2 rounds out of it. So now you're looking at a 10 out of 10 performance and you're looking at a 10 out of 10 durability. Now let's go into value. Well, these golf balls retail at $50 a dozen, but yeah, that's not what they were all year. So there's a couple things this year that PXG did that really set them apart, and that's that when they came out with these golf balls, they immediately said, okay, buy 2, get 1 free, which means you spend $100, you get 3 dozen golf balls. So that put them at $33 a dozen from the rip, from the get-go. That's what they were. And you can't beat that. For what you're getting, 3-piece urethane, premium tour golf ball, gosh, that price is a 10 out of 10. You can't beat it. Now, the other thing they do, which is awesome, is they take care of our heroes, which I love. I've talked about. They take care of school teachers. They take care of nurses now. They take care of, any military. And if at the time, $45 is what you got the golf balls for, but you still got them buy 2, get 1 free. So $90. $30 a piece. I mean, again, for a tour ball, just an incredible value. So I love to see that. Now, what are they right now? Right now, they're $35 a dozen. That's just MSRP. That's just what they're doing, $35 a dozen. And I'm sure if you use their, Heroes program, I'm sure it goes back down to 30 as well. So when you look at the value from that standpoint, which is the golf balls have never been $50. No one's ever paid full price for them. They've always either been buy 2, get 1 free, or they've been, just right now, $35 a dozen, 30 for, Heroes. I mean, 10 out of 10 value. I don't know what to tell you. That for a tour, can you imagine if the Pro V1 was $30 a dozen or $35 a dozen? Like, a lot of you would lose your minds. So the idea that you're getting that type of ball for that's insane. Design-wise, now, they come in a yellow, they come in a white, but again, this is just where you let your logo, you let your marketing department shine. The logo for PXG, how it has this whole Top Gun, aviation, 80s vibe logo. It's really cool. I mean, it's a great logo. I love to see it. It really gives me confidence. I think, wow, this is an expensive ball. It has a premium shine of urethane coating around on it. It looks and feels premium. And the alignment tool, although simplistic, not a very big, thick line, it has, as you can see, the perpendicular line, which makes putting really easy with it, which also, let's talk about the green performance. It putts really well. It chips really well. It checks up around the green. It comes off the putter so beautifully. I can't find really any negatives with this golf ball. Everything is either a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And although I haven't been a PXG guy, I haven't used their clubs, I do like their business practices and what they've been doing this year. I love their golf ball. The fact that they have come out with the X being their first X golf ball and then the Tour being their second golf ball, and what level they are achieving is really great for the golf ball community, because that shows that the technology is really not as advanced as you think it is. Some of you still think like, oh, Callaway and Titleist, they have these patents and they have this advanced technology. Okay, they might say they do and they might have patents. That doesn't make them good patents. PXG comes in the game and says, hey, we're ready to make a golf ball, and their second try in, they have my favorite golf ball I've tested. They have the #1 and #2 golf ball on Golf Ball Addict. That's incredible. I mean, that's nothing short of outstanding. The fact that they came in here, busted down the door, put their feet up, said, make me a sandwich, and just shined. I mean, they kick butt, So, as I said, I'm not a PXG guy, but my goodness, I'm getting there. I'm getting there very quickly. So, sorry if that sounded sales pitchy. I know that's going to be weird, 1 and 2, but guys, there's just no other way around it. I absolutely adored them. Looking back on them, looking at the numbers on my phone, even trying to play devil's advocate and go back and go, okay, well, where can I kind of nitpick it? I could have docked it a point for its 50-yard performance. But again, it's enough to check up. It's just not enough to rip back. Not everyone wants it to rip back. Not everyone needs that much spin. So do I really nitpick it for that? I don't think so. Anyway, guys, that's the top 100. Great list, great golf balls. I did reach out to some of these companies to see if they would kind of hook us up as far as discounts, so because I know you guys are going to want to try the top 10. I didn't really hear back from most of them, so that's okay. It is what it is. We're just not there yet. But Vice did re-up a coupon code for them. So if you do use code GBA, you can get some goodies with that as well. I think you can get a small discount. So check that out as well if you want to try any of the Vice golf balls. Otherwise, maybe I'll hear back from them, and if I do, I'll let you guys know, and maybe we can get a discount for like PXG and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Haven't heard back from them, so hopefully we'll get there. Guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. We are back to our normal content. I appreciate everyone who has been watching. And oh, wait a minute. I'm not done yet, am I? There's one last thing that we now need to talk about, and that's that Golf Ball Addict merch is live. The link is in the description. Feel free to buy anything you want. Thank you so much for being patient on that. It's live, everyone. Have fun. Happy shopping. Bye-bye. Hey, my fellow golf ball addicts, just wanted to give like a little quick tip when you are shopping at the new store I have from Redbubble. When you click the link in the description, it's going to take you to essentially a page where you can see all the different designs I have. It's going to have a top 100 shirt design. It's going to have a golf ball spoon, golf ball pipe, golf ball pill, all that stuff, right? What you're going to want to look is for that little tiny wording below the picture that says shop all products. I don't know why. I'm working on getting the site a little bit better as far as being able to navigate it, but when you go on there, that's what you're looking for, because once you, I do want to show you this here, like once you see the product, like let's say I really like this one right here, I look right here below, see how it says shop all products? There you go, shop all products, and now you can actually see everything you can do. You can see, the mouse pads and the t-shirts, phone cases, hats, all that good stuff. You can scroll and choose what you want. So just a little tip for when you are shopping, but hey, like I said, happy shopping. Let me know if you have any issues.